Hello folks, this is Dave. I'm doing a VR for Eric over at the Card Closet. Eric just went past 750 subs and looking for a VR that talks about how our mothers have influenced our collecting positively. And I can certainly say that about my mother. Her influence on my card collecting was just really a very minor thing as compared to everything my mom did for me in my life. And here's a picture. You might be able to tell that's my mom and my dad, my little sister, and there's me and the fancy threads down there. And probably about 6, 7, 8 years later, she was helping me to collect cards, even if it was indirectly. She allowed me and my friends to walk half a mile on the city streets of Yakima, Washington, up to the drugstore to purchase cards. And there were a lot of empty lots and things around our house, and there were beer bottles and pop bottles that we were able to take to the grocery store and trade in for pennies and use those to buy nickel packs of baseball cards and football cards. And so mom gave me my independence at 9 years old to do that and make transactions up at the drugstore and make my way safely home. She also let me tag along with her when she went to the grocery store. And why that was important was in 1961, Post had come out with baseball cards on the back of their cereal boxes, and you cut them out and you had free cards. And I begged my mom to take me with her so I could selectively look through all the boxes of cereal to find the ones that I wanted. The cards I didn't have, I was more interested in getting all the cards than picking up the stars of the day. So this is 1961 cards. Post. Notice there's no indication of Post anywhere on the card. No copyrights, no logos, no anything interesting. But here's just a few examples of those cards I've recently counted, and I have over 180 cards that I cut out off the boxes. Those are my 61s. I have a few examples of 62s, which actually have the Post logo on there. Interesting. And so here's the cards that subsequently players who became Hall of Famers. And I recently counted, and I have upwards of 180, 200 cutout cards. So I'm not sure how many cards are on a box. I don't remember. It depends on the size of the box, but could have been 6 cards, maybe less. So if I had 180 cards, not counting duplicates, that'd have been 30 boxes of cereal. So I'm guessing probably 30 to 50 boxes of cereal that my mom allowed me to tag along at the grocery store as a 12-year-old boy to select cards. And just a few examples of the 63 cards. Again, the Post logo went off the box, and There's no indication. And my recollection is that there were actually Jello had some of these on the back of their boxes. You get one card on the back of a box of Jello, and they're very similar to these. I think there's a very minor variation. So, and also as with Eric's mom, she didn't throw my cards away, and I still have hundreds of cards from the late 50s and early 60s. And here's just some example of some 62 football cards. I love these, love the poses on these cards. They're just so unique, and photography and the color was very, very good. I love this one of Johnny Unitas. It's just such a cool pose. Jim Brown, pretty classic pose. Here's one for you, Brian, over at Bear Cards 34. Really cool. Mike Ditka, one of my favorite players from my favorite team back then, John Arnett, and Grant Tarkington. So my mom was influential in helping me to collect those cards, and never dissuaded me for doing that. I should also give a shout out to my wife, who lets me still collect cards and buy cards, although at much more than a nickel a pack. And if I could just add on one thing here, as I started collecting, back 4 or 5 years ago, I started collecting fathers and sons who played in MLB. Think the Griffeys and the Boones and so forth. Little did I know there were hundreds of father and son combinations that played in the MLB. It's been fun getting vintage cards and pre-war cards for fathers and sons, and also brothers. Hundreds of brothers played. But there is only one mother and son who played professional baseball, and that is Helen Callahan. And there's a picture of her and her son, Casey Candell. Casey was a journeyman player and coached for the Mariners for a while, and is currently managing, I believe, in Buffalo in the minor leagues. But Casey, and there's Helen Callahan in the middle there, and Helen actually played with her sister, Marge Callahan. And there's Marge's card. My card for Helen is in the mail. Haven't received it yet, but Helen and Marge actually were the inspiration for the movie A League of Their Own. And you can see on the bottom here, Kelly Candell. He is the brother of Casey, son of Helen, and he was inspired by his mother's career in the late 40s, and he did a documentary that the folks in Hollywood eventually saw and made the movie A League of Their Own. And you remember the movie, there was sisters in there, and that though the characters weren't precisely the same, the concept was the same. So there's a mother and son, professional baseball players. So Eric, congrats on 750 subs, and that's my VR. Hope you all have a good one. Goodbye.